It lets itself as us pursue great and new ideas. It lets itself as us begin to discover new and beautiful things, ideas about ourselves and our life, and apply those ideas, not just determining it belongs to somebody else. I shared with our fourth-year class, our ministerial class the other night, that one of the great things challenges we have as metaphysical teachers is to convince everybody who walks through our doors that they deserve what we're talking about. That you deserve to be happy, you deserve to be healthy, you deserve to be prosperous, you deserve to find answers to any problem you have in your life. You deserve it by right of consciousness. A lot of people will treat and then they come up with, I don't deserve this. And the reason is this. Here's why you deserve it. Everybody say, I deserve it. I deserve it. No matter how big it is, how beautiful it is, how healthy it is, how happy it is. How do you deserve it? I deserve it. Say it with me. By right of consciousness. It's yours. By right of consciousness, change for the better is yours. By right of consciousness, the answer is yours. So as you let new ideas about life, about love, about happiness be your way, all of a sudden you discover that way is wonderful. Why? Because you're letting yourself be the wonderful you naturally are. You naturally are. Everyone say the gift of new birth. What happens? They followed the light, and it led them to the new birth that came from the Christ consciousness, which is an idea of God coming forth as experience, and the wisest there for wisdom, and the shepherds were there to herd, which represents herding or shepherding your ideas. And what happens? That whole experience, that whole story metaphysically is something about what? The newness of you coming forth at any time you let it. Not just on December 25th every year, but every day if you let it happen. The birth of Christ is not an incident that happened more than 2,000 years ago. The birth of Christ must take place every moment in every man and every woman and every child. This was the lesson of Reverend Ike, my dear friend. And as we think about our wonderful history and going back when Reverend Ike helped us start this center back in 1975, everyone say, I commit myself, to persist in the face of anything. I don't care what it is. What are we told? Aren't we told to keep your eye on the prize? What does that mean? Everyone say, I keep my eyes on the prize. Back in the 60s, we used to walk in the street in the civil rights movement singing, keep my eyes on the prize, and one day I'll realize. Okay, make it this day. Let your realization be this day, the eyes on the prize. Where is the prize? It's here. Where is the prize? It's in your heart. I love it. We're having a wonderful football season this year, unless you're a Raiders fan. And I love the story that's going, I don't know, Colin Kaepernick. How many know who Colin Kaepernick? Our new quarterback of the 49ers. Good. You know what? Did you see the story? His mother released it, showed the card. When he was in the 5th grade, when this young man was in the 5th grade, he wrote out a card about what he wanted to do with his life. And guess what he said? One day I will be the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. That was when he was in the 5th grade. Okay. Everyone say, all my dreams are waiting for me to come true. How many are ready to come true this morning? Okay, you can do it. You can do it and you can be it. All you have to do is keep what you are thinking and doing consistent. Keep what you're thinking and doing consistent with the words you speak and the great ideas that you choose to follow. This is why the Creative Thought magazine is so important. Start your day with it. End your day with it. Find out what is happening and don't know that as you speak it, You're joining with people all over the planet that are affirming this. No, it's good enough to be true. We're going to have a great experience here on the last day of the year, 4 o'clock in the morning, aren't we, Reverend Lacey? And Reverend Lacey is conducting it. It's very interesting, 4 o'clock in the morning. People say, how can you do that? We're joining all over the planet at the same time. About 20 million people are going to be affirming peace. Now, we've tried it at different times and people don't show up. Do it at 4, the place is packed. And it's great. And isn't it a wonderful time every year? You know, it kind of was stressing. How long have we been doing this? 20-something years now. And the thing is, at the beginning, we're like, 4 o'clock in the morning. And now, after all these years, we can't wait for that experience at 4 o'clock. You know, just that one experience. What a great way to end the year and start the new year. It's not New Year's morning, it's the day before. It's New Year's Eve morning at 4 o'clock. And we join with all these people on the planet and the power of that, as you experienced with Michael. As you experienced with Agape. Was Michael there? I'm sure he was there. Michael Beckwith, God love him. He had a wonderful idea, a big idea, a great idea, and it has stimulated the whole New Thought movement. Is, hey, maybe P.D. Uspensky was right in 1900 when he said that this way of thinking will become the religion of the 21st century. Why? Because education is eliminating superstition from religion. Thinking people can no longer accept superstition as a religion. Why? Because the universe is intelligence, and the intelligence that we are in action is allowing itself to not rediscover, but to discover itself and be the discovery. That's the gift. So the challenge is to be grateful, to know that God supports all of us. Why? Because it is us. It supports all of life and all the life we live each and every day as religious scientists. With perfect confidence, dear people, we can go forward. With perfect confidence, we can allow ourselves ongoing growth. Everyone say ongoing growth in a positive way. See, if we daily release our treatment into law, and we know this treatment is an affirmation of greater good, greater love, greater happiness, then we can do it the right way. We don't want to be like the wife who says to her husband, what would you like for Christmas? He said, I'd like a larger TV. And so she moved his chair closer to it. All these women are naughty. Bob Thavis said this, inside me there's a thin person struggling to get out, but I can usually sedate him with 4 or 5 or 6 cupcakes. Now, our idea is not to sedate our higher understanding, sedate our higher challenges, sedate our desires and our dreams, but to do what? To wake them up and to know they're good enough to be true. Dolly Parton. How many are Dolly Parton friends? Dolly said this. I heard her interviewed the other night. She said, I'm not offended by all the blonde jokes because I know I'm not dumb. I also know I'm not blonde. But all right. Now, Albert Einstein pointed out a person who never made a mistake has never tried anything new. If you're going to try something new, don't be afraid to make a mistake. How many know that if you make a mistake, you just taught yourself what not to do? Okay. Now, what's very interesting is people who make a mistake teach themselves what not to do and then go do it again. What was they said? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting things to change. How many want something to change? Okay. If you have something in your life that needs to change, make up your mind this morning to give yourself the gift of change and know that whatever needs to change has changed in consciousness. Now get ready for the harvest. Now get ready for the demonstration. Irving Berlin said this, life is 10% what you make it and 90% how you take it. See? We can all make it. Now what are you going to do with it? Our challenge is to know and know we know that success is good enough to be true. Who was it? Napoleon Hill said more people are afraid of success than they are of failure. I think one of the things we learn as religious scientists is I no longer have to fear success. I no longer have to fear greater ideas. I no longer have to fear positive right action. I no longer have to fear happiness. I no longer have to fear health. I no longer have to fear love. I no longer have to fear anything. Why? Because I'm God in action. And that's the truth of you, whether you know it or not. Michael Jordan said you have to expect things of yourself before you can do them. Before you can do them. Michael Jordan, this great athlete, you know, if he had had the athletic ability but didn't have the consciousness to direct it, we'd never heard of him. Everyone say, I have great ability within me and the consciousness to direct it. See, the road to success, dear people, doesn't have a speed limit. It doesn't have a speed limit. Your challenge is to wake up and know, as what Dr. Wayne Dyer said, and where do you think Wayne might have received this idea? It's on one of his books, and it's quoting Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer said, "You'll see it when you believe it." Now, in 1918, Dr. Ernest Holmes said, change your thinking, change your life. Okay. 2,000 years ago, the master teacher Jesus said, it is done unto you how? As you believe. Not if you believe, but as you believe. So if it's done unto you as you believe, shouldn't you pay attention to what you believe? Shouldn't you pay attention to the ideas you're accepting are good enough to be true as you? This is new birth in action. The real meaning of Christ coming into the world is the birth of Christ in your own consciousness, not the person, but the consciousness of the Christos, the illumined mind. Christos means thinking as oneness thinks, living as oneness lives, giving as oneness gives, receiving as oneness receives. Over and over again, we need to invite the best. And as we invite the best and open up our heart to it and let it fill our heart, our mind, our home, our world, our church, our community, our country, our world, then we find ourselves living from truth, through truth, to truth. We find ourselves following the star, the light of greater good. And we know that nothing in our yesterday, nothing in our past acceptance is in the way of what can be. The beautiful is good enough to be true as you. The birth of the Christ, the Christos consciousness within your heart and mind is a celebration of what the great teacher taught 2,000 years ago, and all great teachers have taught, both east and west. There's a golden thread that binds it all together, and in religious science we study, apply, and practice that golden thread. The golden thread that says there's one life. That life is God. That life is your life. And with God all things are possible. So free yourself into possibility. Open your gift and know that as you do and give it, it returns pressed down and overflowing, and it's good enough to be true. Everyone say, I open my gift, and come true, to my greater good, beginning now. And that's the way it is. Namaste. Thank you for being here this morning.